All right, we in this.
We
We're
in
gonna
this?
start with yeah, we're gonna just start normally.
We just gonna start. How you doing today, Cam? How are you?
That's our normal start. I feel like I had a story for this.
Did you?
Yeah, I always like to come with the story.
I know. You always have a story.
I always have a story
They're good stories. Remember it.
sometimes. Um, I actually cannot. Oh, I guess it's just been like I can bring the story that I talked to you about.
Hmm.
Um, where I've basically been since being at my parents' house, I've been kind of like in a state of reflection.
Mhm.
Like I feel like I saw my childhood and like now I'm back like here I am. It's weird because like as a child I never would have thought I'd be here kind of thing, like
Right.
doing this kind of stuff. Um and so I think it was on the Patreon episode I talked about like feeling like I was falling like lately,
Mhm.
and I think that was a sign that I was just in a bad mental space. So like Alex and Cass were gone last week and I was just at home by myself. And I just realized like I was in a bad place. Like I just wasn't in a very good place. So I decided to on Sunday, I think I went and I meditated and I went on a walk and I did some exercising, which I haven't done in a while. And
Yeah.
I made sure I ate decently that day. Like I really tried to do some things that like kind of would help curb that. And I was also like, I've been reading this book that has been talking about like, um, it's called Limitless, and it talks about all the ways that we hold ourselves back.
Yeah.
And it talked the part I'm in is talking about mindset, and something that I didn't realize is that like I was saying in the Marco pod is just like I didn't realize how much the negative thoughts get through to me and how
Yes.
much I am on board with the negative thoughts and
Mhm.
these things that I think are shortcomings that I've stuck to as part of who I am for so long, have kind of been in the way. So the book talked about that same day. I listened to this part of the book, and the book talked about like thinking of that negative talk as like a villain, like a diabolical, maniacal villain that is trying to like stop you from being and thinking of yourself as like that superhero on the side of the road who isn't going there because that villain has stopped you.
Yes.
So I've been trying to use like imagery more in kind of the way that I think and feel about myself. So um in the past couple days, I would say one of the things I believed before listening to that part was that I'm bad at communication. I
Mm.
don't communicate very well. I People don't get me. That's why people don't want to hang out with me or be my friend kind of thing. But and that's true and that's probably how I've carried myself for a very long time. But in trying to think of myself as like that full who I am, I've been
Mhm.
thinking about it as like you can be bad at something. I've been bad at things before and I've been bad at design before and I've decided to work my way out of it. So
Right.
yes, you might not be where you want to be when it comes to communication, but you can work towards being better at it. You can do
Yeah.
like I'm a person who's growing. Think of it as I'm a person who's growing rather than I'm a person who's done for. I'm never going anywhere kind of thing. Uh,
Yeah.
so that's kind of like man, that was kind of like really like eye opening. And this week has just been supercharged. Ever since that happened on Sunday, we've been getting knocking work done. We planned 2 websites in a day, did all the work for him, and now Alex just has to make them because like it just felt like we were channeling a different vibe, something else
Yeah.
different. So Limitless is the book. It's been great so far. But I think I'm hitting something that is like knocking on that door to like being the person that I want to be. Because I feel like I've struggled with that a lot. It's just like you expected to be somebody, you had these things that kind of reinforced it, and then you realize that that's probably not gonna that wasn't gonna pan out, but you can decide who you want to be every day. Wake
Yeah.
up and be that person you want to be every day and
Yes.
not be that superhero sitting on the side of the road, be that person saving the day kind of thing.
Oh,
It's
dude. The fact that you said that,
yeah.
like, I feel like we both had, I for sure had a mindset shift. Like, over, I would say last week or over this past weekend, I had a huge mindset shift and I did not realize how stuck in my old toxic way of thinking I had been. I was literally like every single day, I'm so tired. I'm so tired. I can't keep up with this. I can't, like, it was just, I felt so overwhelmed, and I realized I wasn't taking care of myself.
Yep.
Like, I wasn't taking time to go out and walk. I wasn't taking time to make food. I was just like, no, I gotta work, I gotta work, I gotta work. And it was like I was completely just in this loop of icky, nasty thought processes, and everything felt so foggy and just like it wasn't making sense. Nothing felt good. Nothing was like, it wasn't working. And so I sat down with Emma last Saturday, and we were getting ready to film our promo for the new series that we have coming in June. And we were sitting there talking, and like, she's been doing some incredible work with herself. She takes time every single morning to sit and reflect on what she wants to do for the day. What she literally says, even before I start the day, even before anybody tries to ruin my day, I'm going to win. Like, I am going to win. And I'm like, what? I literally went through an entire class, and that's the thing, like, healing is not linear. It's never going to be linear. And we get really upset because, we're doing good, and then we hit a roadblock. And we either stay down there and beat ourselves up and say, well, shit, I'm here again. Or we go, okay, let's get back out of it. What tools do we have?
Mm-hmm.
So instead of me waking up every morning saying, I'm so tired, today's going to suck, I'm not going to get any work done, like da, 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 I have been doing this thing that she taught me where I wake up earlier. I've been getting up at like 7, 8 in the morning every single day.
What?
I know. I've been in bed by like 10, 11 o'clock at night, which is huge.
You said I'm going to bed last night, and I was like, Jessa, going to bed?
Dude, I have been, and here's the thing too, my kid just started school, which is so funny. Like, our kids both started back up on school. Well, Sophie started back, yours started, which is really exciting. But now I have 3 days a week where it's just me and work all day.
Mm-hmm.
It's just me and work. So I get up early, I start my day, like, we get her off to school, and then I can sit down and work until it's time to pick her up. And it has been a huge lifesaver. But what I do in the morning is when I wake up, and this is like Emma's love language, she'll always send me something inspirational, whether it's a TED talk, or about depression and anxiety, or another affirmation talk about mind shift changes, all of that. But when I go to bed at night, this is the thing that she taught me. When I go to bed at night, how I fall asleep is I tell my brain what amazing things I'm going to do the next day. And so I literally sit there and I go, okay, I'm going to wake up. I'm going to wake up slowly. I'm going to make a cup of coffee. I'm going to hop in the shower. Which I haven't gotten there yet, because most of I'm a night owl. Like, I'm a huge night owl. Yeah. So but I've been noticing I've been waking up earlier and earlier since I started this at the beginning of the week. Okay. So I'm now waking up, like, I woke up this morning at 7:30, and I was like, this is the earliest I've woken up.
And just all because you're not fighting it. Like,
yes.
Yeah.
So I literally just walk through, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to, and that's the first thing I do in the morning is when I'm brushing my teeth, washing my face, I'm listening to somebody talk about, being positive, being your best self, pushing and going, and how motivation is shit. There's no such thing as motivation. It's discipline. Like, you have to, so I always listen to something that I can learn about or that'll inspire me. And so I don't want to go too far into it, but like the fact that we both hit that this week is like, this is the most work I've gotten done in 2 days. Like, in the last month, I got it done in 2 days.
Same. We said the same thing. It was like the past 2 days we've gotten so much stuff done, and it's never happened.
So. When did you guys decide to put him in a daycare?
We decided like a month ago.
That's so crazy. We literally did too.
It's been a couple months, yeah. But he needed the social stuff. Is the reason we did it, because we were seeing that he was doing a lot of things that like worked with us, but he needs to understand how other kids interact.
Right.
So we didn't want him to get too far without going in and being a part of that. And obviously he was ready, because he just walked in the door and didn't even say bye. So
what a well-adjusted kiddo. That's awesome.
Yeah,
Sophie screamed the first day, but these last 2 days she's been like, see ya.
Yeah.
I picked her up last night and she was like, I don't want to go. And I'm like, what? You've been here all day. Let's go.
That's funny.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so we're on episode 6.
Yes, episode 6.
Episode 6. Welcome, guys. We are here, Cam and Jessa here with Wisdom by Design. We're super excited you're here. And I skipped the thing, so I'm just gonna jump into that and then reintroduce myself. Yeah? Okay. All right. What's up, dropouts? Welcome to the Professionally Awkward Show. We are a podcast for the creatives looking to enrich their life with knowledge. We won't be giving you 3 ways to get rich quick because we don't like schemes and they're kind of skeezy and gross. So we're not even going to pretend to know how to do that. However, we are for the college avoider, the corporate dropout, the person burning the midnight oil on their next big project. We are here to talk with you, offer up the processes that work for us in our business, and to be real about the ones that don't. This might be your new fave podcast.
We're biased though.
What do you think? We are very, very biased. But yeah, so my name's Jessa.
And I'm Cameron, and we love it here.
And we love it here. We love being here. Great bosses, honestly. Our manager's pretty fantastic. She only yells at us like once a week. It's good. It's good. She never yells at us. She's freaking awesome. She does correct us though, and I love it. We need her, our two creative brains. Yes. What are we talking about today?
All right. This is a hot take. This is a hot take episode.
Yeah.
Not really, because we're going to put a lot of our experience into it. Yeah. But I have a hot take for you, Jessa. And that hot take is corporate America is a pyramid scheme.
Dun, dun, dun.
All the way around. It's a pyramid scheme all the way around. We talk about, what are the famous pyramid schemes? Amway is a famous pyramid scheme. What's the other one? The drink.
Those who don't really know like what a pyramid scheme is, can you kind
herbalife. Okay, so a pyramid scheme is something. Remember that Michael Scott? We should drop in that Michael Scott clip. Where, have you seen that from The Office? Okay, I'll drop it in here.
Okay.
But there's this clip where they're telling Michael that he's in a pyramid scheme, and he's like, no, I just sell to these people, and then they sell to these people, and he just is like doing it. He's drawing a pyramid and doesn't realize it, and it's so funny. Like everybody's like, and then Jim gets on the board and draws a pyramid around it, and he's like, what? Like, so basically, the whole idea with a pyramid scheme is that there's people at the top who you at the bottom aspire to be like. So in order to get to the top, you have to get more and more people on board, or more and more people to buy product from you and get people behind you or to lift you up to that next rank. So that's the way a lot of these like Herbalife, they kind of work, is you're a person and you get a bunch of your family and friends to buy, and that moves you up, and that gets you more employees under you who now sell more Herbalife. So that moves you up to the top. And in my comparison, I feel like corporate America is definitely like that, like in my experience.
Yeah.
So I want to start this conversation because I feel like this is a broad conversation that we kind of have to bring a little context to.
Okay. Yeah.
So let's talk about kind of how corporate work used to work for our generations before us. Mm-hmm. So when our parents or grandparents went to work, the idea was to go and get a job because it'd be sound, secure, and you can take care of your family. That's why a lot of unions were created, to kind of take care of the worker, just made sure the worker had everything they needed. So in their reality, they would go to this job without, some of them, I don't even think they used to have that much education, right? No, so they would just go to this job, which was basically kind of given to them, and they'd work that job for 40 years and move up in the ranks the way they need to move up in the ranks, and they could afford everything they needed for their family with one person in the household working that job.
Right.
That was kind of their reality. That was the American dream. And then they could do their whole keeping up with the Joneses, where they were buying product, and the world was just working because everybody was spending money. Capitalism was thriving. There was a whole middle class, but that's because kind of the job situation allowed that to be. Right. So that's kind of where we came from into kind of, let's talk about like our reality. Our reality is we went through school. Our parents were sold on this thing called college. And so when we got through school, the whole idea was to advance to the next step, college. We went through college. We did everything they told us to do. And then a lot of people ended up with $100,000 or more in debt when they got out of it, and no guaranteed job.
Yeah.
So you get out into the world and there's not even the job that you were promised to have because you went to college. But now, because college is the standard, everybody has to have a college degree to get anywhere.
Right.
So we all, our parents were fed this idea, and then we kind of got stuck with the ticket. They were like, yeah, I want that for my kid. Every kid wants to succeed. Let's do this. So they signed us up, but kind of shipped us off and didn't really take care of us after that, because we were 18 and they're like, well, you're an adult. Take care of yourself. So you're 18 with $200,000 of debt, and you can't get a job. So that's kind of the reality that we live in now. And I know even for me, I did get a job out of college, but after you do the math, the money just doesn't stretch, because now, because I had to take this student loan, I had a $500 payment that was just, I had to do it every month. $500 out of my living expenses I had to live off of, or I had to take out and give away to somebody else.
Right. Well, and I know, like, not to interrupt you, but I know that there are going to be people that are like, okay, well, but for certain career paths, college is important, which I agree. Like,
I agree.
Being a doctor, being, somebody who's literally going to be medically taking care of you. Like, I 1000% agree that advanced education is important in certain areas, but you're right. Like, when it comes to, and I don't want to hear anybody say, well, you should have picked a better career path. That's not how that works.
I picked the best. I picked the best, though.
Yeah, you did. You picked engineering. Like, engineering's never going to go away. Like, you either are good at something or you're not. Like, you're not going to pick a career path that you freaking suck at and then just try to make it work, Like, I know I have so many friends that have hundreds of thousands of dollars of student debt. They are working in the field that they wanted, okay? And they are making, like, I have a friend who is a therapist, okay? She posted a TikTok the other day, and it was like me being hopeful, working as a waitress so I could be a therapist to pay for my therapy degree. And then it says, and it's like cut to the future, I've been a waitress for 13 years. I'm now a therapist, and I'm still making the same I made as a waitress. Like, and it's like, holy shit, it's true.
It's true.
It's true. And you can't expect anybody to, like, my mom has a master's in psychology, okay? She said if she would have known that those hundreds of thousands of dollars would only guarantee her like a $3 or $4 raise, she probably wouldn't have done it.
Exactly.
She wouldn't have done it. And she was a single mom of 3, working like 2 or 3 jobs at the time and going to school online. And she graduated with her freaking master's. Like, that's a huge accomplishment, but did it help her? No.
And we're even leaving something out of the conversation. And that is the whole money part of it.
Yes.
Because inflation is real. So inflation is a thing. Yes, we're talking about like how much we make in this time, but if you go and look up how much $100,000 was in 1990s, it was equal to $200,000. So that meant it went twice as far. Whatever money you had, like now, back then, went twice as far.
Yeah.
So think about that. Your mom went and got a master's degree for $3 or $4 raise, but back then it might have gone further. But now, because our money is so devaluated and it's so bogged down by so much stuff and inflation, and we're not even addressing inflation when it comes. We're just saying, hey, $100,000 is $100,000 is $100,000, and it's not. It moves. Money does move. So that's something that, like, we weren't schooled on. They were just like, yeah, you'll get out and you'll make money. But where? But where? And like, but where, and then you'll make money, but we're also gonna have our hand in your pocket. And your parents didn't have that. So that's kind of the reality we live in now. So it's kind of like when it came to like losing my job, and I actually like got to reflect on it, I felt like I was selling myself short a lot of bit, by being at a job where the money, and this is what I learned from, if you've ever read 4 Hour Work Week, they just talk about like having a salary job is the worst because you don't have the ability to make more money on your time.
Yeah.
So if you're getting paid for 40 hours a week and you're working 60, then you're taking a pay cut.
Yeah.
And that could be every week. Your manager is telling you, hey, you have to do this, but it's making you be there longer and you're losing money. So once I read that, I was like, this is a scam. Like, And like that's just not how it kind of works.
Right. And like you were talking about how they were working like the 40-hour work week and things like that. That was for like a family or whatever household. If you think about it, like there are people who work those 40 and 60-hour work weeks and they're not even bringing enough in to maintain their rent, their groceries, like basic living wages.
Yep. And
Like
that's 60 hours. 60
and
hours of work is a long time.
hours a
Yep.
week. That we're not meant to work that long.
Yeah.
Like our mental health, our bodies, everything, like we are physically not supposed to be working that long.
100%.
Like, and are there people that can do it? Absolutely. Are they badasses? Yes. Like,
Yep.
I remember being in college and working 12-hour days back to back because I went to school full time during the week. A Saturday and Sunday, I'd be clocking in at freaking 4 or 5 a.m. in the morning, or I said morning twice, but, be clocking in. And then at the end of the day, walking home at like 8 or 9 o'clock at night. And my body felt like it was falling apart. Like that was the standard for that job.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like,
what job was that?
I was working as a patient tray services. So I was working in patient tray services for a hospital.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I would literally be delivering food, like helping take the orders for the patients in the hospital and then making the food and then delivering it up to the different rooms.
Got you.
I'd be doing it all day long.
Did you feel like you had a choice? Did you feel like you had a choice in kind of what you were doing? Because that's the other thing is like we disguise it as like, well, if you don't like it, then you can go do something else. And it's like a lot of people at the moment that they're doing these things, they don't have.
No, at that time, it was the most flexible job I could get. With me having I had 4 or 5 classes a week with, I was, like I said, I was in college full time. I think I was making like $11 or $12 an hour at that job. And then I also worked at a nursing home during Monday through Friday. Mm-hmm. So, that's how I paid for college plus photography. That's how I paid for college. That's how I paid like the bills that I had, which thankfully, like I stayed with my parents in college. I don't know where I would have been if I didn't stay with my parents. Yeah. But on top of everything else, like my actual expenses, that was the job that I could get at the time. And I took it and I just stayed there until I couldn't take it anymore.
Yeah. I kind of, because I can play kind of both sides of this. I can play the corporate in that sense and then the corporate in the engineering sense.
Yeah.
Because I used to work in the summers, I would always go get like a normal job.
Yeah.
And I know for a lot of it, it was just to have something to do. But for me, a little bit of also it was to connect with the people. Because I felt like I was going to college with these engineering folk and they had never worked a normal job in some of them. So like I would work at like McDonald's or I'd work at Walmart I would meet some of the realest people, that's hard work. Those are real hard workers. That's the lifeblood of our country. That's hard work. Yeah. But then we get screwed over the most. Like I was just there to get pocket money for real. And these are people having to make ends meet. And we would go look at the schedule and I'm working 12 hours that weekend. They're working 4.
Yeah.
They almost qualified for healthcare. And so they had to cut them back.
Well, and then I hate that because people are like, well, then don't work at McDonald's. Okay. So do you want them to get a loan so that they can be in debt and not feed their family? Exactly. So like, what do you expect them to do? Exactly. So they can get that college degree that you think that they should have in order to be successful. Like, what are they supposed to do while they're getting that college degree? Yeah. What places do you know of? I worked at Barnes and Noble. Like when I worked at Barnes and Noble, which don't get me wrong, it's a great company, but like what you were saying about they would cut their hours so that they wouldn't qualify for those things. Unless I took other people's shifts and worked doubles every single day, I would not make enough money to come home. Like there was no reason for me to even be there. But at that time, it was like, I don't have anybody that has flexible hours that understands, hey, I need to go to college. I need to do these things during the day. Can I work at night? Like you want people to have a certain job and a certain lifestyle so they stop complaining. But in order to do those things, they need to have these jobs. Like
it doesn't make sense. And we're not giving jobs away. And then there's the whole college thing. You have to have a degree to get a certain class of job. Yeah. And now you have a barrier for even entry to get into the degrees that would pay them more and they would have to worry less. So there's kind of like this, again, it's this big machine that kind of stops you from doing the things you need to do. And at that level, people don't have a lot of choices. Like,
Yeah.
what do you have if you live in a small town? All you
You know
have
what
is
they're
a small
doing? They're
town
making
job.
it work, and people
Yeah,
should stop shitting on other people for making it work.
for
Period.
sure.
Just
For
period.
sure. For sure. And so
So
that's the real reality with corporate America is, and this is, so now that was kind of that level, and I'll talk to about like my engineering experience. Like, there was a lot of time where I just felt like I was spinning my wheels and people were like classifying this as hard work. And I'm
Mhm.
like, bro, I did hard work. I worked at McDonald's in the summer with the windows open, and it's like
No
you're
freaking
dying.
air
You're,
conditioner, wearing
you're
long sleeves.
in front of a fryer. You're frying
Yeah.
French fries. You come home tasting like salt or smelling like salt because you've been frying French fries all day and
Mhm.
bad oil. And
Yep.
I'm here, and you guys are saying that this is such hard work. And I'm sitting at my desk for an hour and a half of work and 6 hours of no work.
Yeah.
And it's just there is a mentality down there in those other jobs also of look busy, do
Mhm.
busy work. But I just felt like there was just, I did this whole thing to get a degree, and the degree was supposed to mean something, right? But why am I again doing busy work? Like,
Yeah.
why am I again not doing anything that really matters? And
Yeah.
why is the goalpost able to be moved this much? And
Yeah.
like, it just felt like there was no true sense of um this being actual work. It was
Right.
all, I say this a lot. It was augmented reality. It
Mm.
was, we have this sense of what it should be, and when you get that there's this, it's not that. So there's this world of like augmented reality where we pose engineering as being like this thing, and we go through school, we learn these formulas, and we do these classes, and then you get there and it's not that. So
Yeah.
again,
Yeah.
it's a facade. And the whole goal, right, and this is brings it back to the pyramid scheme thing, is we're all supposed to be CEOs and billionaires one day. So when you go work for a corporation, they sell you on all these things on how you're supposed to get there, but the person who's the CEO or they're in the top right now didn't do those things. That's
So,
not how they got there. They
so
got there by other means or having money or being
yeah.
like hired there. They don't get there by rising in the ranks. That doesn't happen.
Right. Well, and like I know of, a couple of CEOs that, did start out with nothing, and
Yeah.
they did work their way up. But what do you think the difference is between a person who worked their way up and hired a team versus a corporate building? Like, what do you think the difference is?
So it's, I've also been reading into this too. That
Mm.
Simon Sinek has a book called Start with Why, and he kind
Okay.
of talks about kind of that you have to have a reason for doing this,
Hmm.
and your reason can't be to make money. And
Right.
so the person who's starting off with a team and people who believe in them, they started off with a reason. They had
Yeah.
something that engaged the people and brought the people in and made the people want to work with them. Most
Right.
of these corporate things, corporations that we have, and these structures that we have, no longer operate like that. They operate as money driving machines. And I have an example for you.
All
So
right.
in that book, he talks about Walmart, and he
Mhm.
talks about how Sam Walton, who created Walmart, he only took $300,000 a year. That's the only, he wouldn't let them pay him any more money than that. And
Really?
in the beginning, the whole idea of Walmart was to um, bring bring somewhere to shop into
Yeah.
smaller towns, so
Right.
people didn't have to go to St. Louis to be able to shop for all these things. They could go more locally and be
Yeah.
able to serve the people and get the people the things they need without having to go so far, which is a great, that's a great reason, that's a great
Yeah.
why.
Absolutely.
So the guy who built it kind of had this idea of what he wanted it to be, and people got excited about it and got around it.
Yeah.
And what is our idea of Walmart now? He
I
passed away, and now
I
they are money hungry machines
Yeah.
trying to drive other businesses out of work, because, or out of business, because their hunger for money.
Yeah.
So what happened there? They lost the why. The why went away. And you know what? Want to know what's interesting about that story is there's a guy who started he started Costco, and he watched Sam Walton, and he learned everything Sam Walton had to say. And
Yeah.
he started Costco based on Sam Walton's ideas.
Yeah.
and who is now has a stronger, more sense of community than Walmart? Costco, because it
Mm,
was built on the same message that Walmart was built on in its beginning,
makes
which is crazy to think about, right?
yeah.
Like Costco leads in paying their employees. Costco leads in taking care of their customers. Like they're trying to do the best job they can, but that's because they believe in their why and they're sticking to it.
Right. I
Uh,
feel like corporate there are businesses that treat their employees like a community, like a family. Like and I'm not saying like every business should be all feel good and fluffy and things like that. I'm saying there's a difference between working your people half to death to actually supporting them because they're supporting you. You
yep.
know, like giving them the healthcare, giving them, you know, the actual days off, giving them these things and putting their families first, putting their mental health first. Like Veterans United
Mm-hmm.
is insane when it comes to taking care of their employees. Insane. And they have a hard job. Like listening to Emma actually talk about what it is she does, it's not fun. It's loans, it's, you know, math and like all these crazy like state laws and like all the stuff that they have to know in order to be able to do these for people. And you know, like it's a very very hard job. Like the test that she had to take to even get in, most of the people, like some people quit before they even take the test because the test is so freaking hard.
Yeah.
Like it's not fun, but they're literally sending them care packages each month. They're with full of stuff. Like they don't have like set hours. They say you make your hours as long as you meet these goals each month, you or each week you make your
That's
hours. You
solid.
come in day, you come in at night. If you're having a hard day, go outside and take a walk. You know what, actually go over to our room where we have massage chairs. Oh, you're a breastfeeding mother, go over here, we have a specific station for you. Like it's so family and mental health oriented that every time she tells me about it, it blows my freaking mind.
Mm-hmm.
I have never ever I remember working for all these corporate places and be shaking because my blood sugar was so low that I would literally be having to sneak candies to keep my blood sugar up because I wouldn't be able to eat until like freaking 1, 2, sometimes 3 in the afternoon when my 30-minute break was there and I was going to be working a 14-hour shift.
Yep.
Like, what?
Alex used to, because Alex used to, her main thing was serving, and she would
Yeah.
always be like, they don't allow us to eat in the building,
No, you're
and
not allowed to.
you
Oh,
don't get servers don't get breaks like that.
no.
So what are you supposed to do? Oh, so they expect you not to eat. They
Yeah,
expect you not to drink water.
exactly. Yeah. Oh yeah. They've got like free vending machines at the VU. They've got like all these amazing, it's just insane all the things that they're doing for the employees, but they know that the job is hard. They know that it's taxing on your mental health. So they're going to do the things that they will be, they sign them up. Have you heard of Headspace,
Yeah, yeah,
the meditation app?
yeah.
They give every single one of their employees a free subscription to Mindspace or Headspace every single year, and so that they can actually take those breaks and like they're putting in place a road for success for their employees so they don't have such a bad turnover, so that they stay longer with the company, that they're always learning. Like
That's
why is not everybody doing that? Why is our culture 40, 60 hours a week and sorry you don't need to see your family too bad?
I think we're married to the dollar. Like
Yeah.
I think that in all like honesty, I was actually talking to somebody the other day. I joined this young professionals group, and someone was messaging me, and we were talking about, like, he asked me why I went freelance or whatever, and I was telling him about like how corporate America treated me, and like, and he told me that it's not the responsibility of the corporation to pay you what you're valued. That was his thought. And he said it's your responsibility to make sure they pay you what you're valued. And it's like,
So being an
how?
advocate for
Like,
yourself. Yeah.
but that's fair. But I will tell you that my experience with it is they take the person making the money decision. So I applied for a job, I interview for the job, I get the job. They tell me what the money's gonna be. I say, hey, someone else is offering me more than that. Can we do something on the pay of this job? And they say, nah, that's not my call. If I run it up the ladder, it's gonna take too long. We need you to be here right now.
Yeah.
So we really can't do anything about that. You either want to work with us or you don't. And that's the reality, is you don't. And me being a black man, I don't know if the $70,000 they offered me is even in comparison to my counterpart. I have no idea. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know how this works. I'm really a first generation when it comes to working in this type of environment. So
Yeah.
how am I supposed to know to advocate for myself? I signed this contract and I'm stuck to it. So it's just, who has, if corporations don't have the responsibility to take care of us, who does?
Right.
Are we just supposed to take care of ourselves, or is this where the community comes from?
Yeah.
Do we turn this into a community and say they can go do their own, get out of here, y'all can go do your own thing. We gonna make money for ourselves in these communities, because
Mhm.
that's the future that we're building.
Yeah.
I'm not playing with these people anymore who don't care about people. If you're in
Yeah.
the business of employing people, you care about people. You have to.
Oh,
We're
you
not robots.
I feel like you see we have seen since COVID has happened, I feel like we've seen such a huge shift in our generation saying that they're done. Like they will put their money toward the people that actually give a shit.
Yes.
If
That's it.
if you don't act like you, or not even act, but if you don't have a reason why and you're just a greedy hungry machine, a lot of the times you don't work out. Like a lot of your people, your patrons, all these people, they're being very conscious about where they're putting their money and they're voting with their dollars.
Sometimes.
So you either, if you don't care, okay, cool. Well, I don't know how long that's going to last,
That
because people work for you. People are working for you, and if you're not willing to nurture that, they're not going to stay.
Yeah. And that, so I will give you a caveat to that. There is a such thing as that, a lot of the corporate idea is too big to fail. And the way
Mm,
that idea kind of goes is, if you think
everybody's
about it,
working.
like 2008, when all these banks were writing loans that they shouldn't have been writing,
Yeah.
that end up driving them to bankruptcy, who saved them?
Yeah.
The government. They get
Yeah.
saved every time. So
Yeah.
that's my thing, is they don't have to behave in a way where there's any type of accountability.
Yeah, you're
So
right. You're
the
right.
only way for us to take control of it is to do the things we want to do. And you're right, putting your money where you want to put it in good things is what you have to do, but we have to be realistic.
Yeah.
Amazon's come up and created a machine that people have to use it.
Yeah.
Like, people are using it now to get prescriptions in 2 days, which
Oh,
they,
wow.
yeah, like they're going into that industry of sending people medicine. So it's
Wow.
like, I mean, that again, too big to fail. What are you supposed to do about that? But I
Yeah.
think sometimes we have to live with it. And in the other decisions that we have control of, we have to take control.
We have to take
So
control.
we have to understand what we can control and what we can't. And I think that's what we're doing. That's absolutely, I think this is, we're gonna put a wall here and we're gonna go forward. Like, the rest of this conversation is how we like make a difference. How do we get to a future that we want to see when it
Mm.
comes to employment?
Yeah.
Like, that's huge. Like, we know who's had this conversation. People don't talk about where employment should be going, but
Yeah.
me and Alex have been talking about it a lot, because we plan on, because we see how bad it is out there, we plan on having employees and we plan on doing the right thing by them. Like, and one of, like, do you plan on having employees, Jessa? Or
I do. I mean, I've already been working on building my team in the last year, and having the people that I do have has been really helpful, but I would love to have, one or two full-time employees that I can call my team. Like if it could be bigger than that, that'd be awesome. Um but I definitely I want to aim for a culture in my space that benefits them. It's not something that's going to soul suck them. It just
it's
I want
close,
it to be something that's nurturing for what they're wanting to do and what I'm wanting to do. I want it to be a two-way street.
like beneficial for everybody.
Yeah.
I mess with, so me and Alex have been trying to come up with ways to actually put that in action, because you have to start thinking about it now.
Yeah.
Alex has talked about a couple of people who they pay themselves at the amount that they pay their lowest employee. So
Wow.
if your lowest employee is making $50,000 a year, that's what you're making.
Wow.
And then everybody above that gets paid, of course, what they deserve, but you make
Right.
that.
Right.
I really mess with that, because I want employees that are, we're doing the thing and they're getting paid what their value actually is, because
Yeah.
you help what I'm building, you're helping with. Like, that's
Yeah.
what I don't get. Everybody's always like, these corporations don't owe you anything. How do they not?
Yeah.
I keep your corporation going. How am I not how am I not a piece of it? How am I not turning over
Because
the
they
wheel?
literally have so much money that they don't have to think about it. Like there's
Yeah.
very few corporations that are conscious of the people that take care of them. I
Yes.
mean, in reality, if somebody from a corporation was watching this, they'd probably laugh because they have enough money that they don't have to
It
care.
doesn't matter. Yeah.
And I'm not saying that people who are rich are all sucky and whatever, but the environments that you see inside these corporations are very much so
Yeah. Yeah. Poop.
oop.
Yep. Take care of your employees. They take care of your customers, and there's the bottom line.
And then it keeps it coming. It keeps it
Yeah.
coming. I mean, I feel like they had to have done something right to get where they're at, but
That's
maybe money just
that's
maybe
what
money.
I'm telling you. The Walmart thing, I had no clue. I
Yeah,
thought Walmart was always just power hungry and trying to bully people out of their small businesses. That's what I thought it was. But to hear that they actually had a very beautiful beginning, like
mm,
that's very beautiful to have a man who's like, yeah, I want to get you the thing. So on your weekend, you don't have to travel as far. You can spend more time with your kids because you
yeah,
could go and get everything you need down the street. And I think that's, yeah, there was some byproduct because of that, but he might have been working with smaller businesses to get their products in his stores. Who knows? I don't know at this point.
I don't know. I know
So
that he's had some or there has been some controversy with Walmart. You know, and I've had some friends that have worked with them, and some liked their job and some didn't.
yeah,
And you know, some of them were paid well and some of them weren't. I think I don't know. I feel like it's just I think we're so used to it being in our culture that a lot of people don't even stop to question why they are in the space that they're in.
yeah. And I think the pandemic put
Oh,
that
I think
stop.
the pandemic ripped
Yeah.
that wide open.
It was just like, let's all
People
stop and think.
Let's all stop. Let's all be forced to stay home. Let's all be forced to look at ourselves and what's actually going on in our lives. There are so many businesses now, corporations, who are allowing a large percentage of their people to stay home because they realize that they're more productive that way.
Yeah.
Like the environment at home is so much better than being at work that they're being more productive.
Mhm. But
Like,
we could have told you that because
yeah,
I worked for one that was said that I need all my engineers to be in the building else I don't believe that they're working and I don't care what they think.
yeah,
So we told them that. We've been saying that for years. Hey,
yeah,
let's go work from home. We'll get more stuff done. We'll work
yeah,
more hours. We'll
yeah.
not take vacation. It's all
Right.
there. Like, and that's why I get so frustrated about this is
Yeah.
because
No,
it's
it's a great
a
topic.
one-sided, it's a one-sided argument where they're like, will you do what we say because we pay your paychecks?
Right. Well, and I feel like this conversation is coming from people who have been in so many different corporate positions,
Yeah.
in so many different styles of this kind of work. So it's, you know, I feel like it goes to show something to people who have literally worked their asses off their entire
Their
lives
entire lives.
are tired of it.
It's tough. And they
we
haven't gotten a foot up. They
yeah,
haven't
well,
gotten that leg up.
we work for ourselves now. Like
Yeah.
even when I there were so many times that were like, oh my gosh, it'd be so amazing to work for a studio, or you know, all these corporate studios that are in the mall, and like, you know, Life Touch and stuff. And like, I don't know anything specific about Life Touch, but when I hear about certain photographers that were inside of those positions, they were awful.
Mhm.
Like those jobs, hell no, you could not pay me enough. I worked as a newborn photographer inside of a hospital. I lasted, oh, I don't know, maybe 6 months. Maybe that was like the shortest I had ever been in that job, because they wanted you, if you were not inside a room with a client, you were clocked out. You were not getting paid to be inside that hospital. If you were not hitting those numbers, I worked in a predominantly lower class, lower income area, like a lower income hospital. And I was walking into these rooms trying to sell $6, $7, $800 freaking photo packages of these very first moments with their brand new baby. And they're wanting them to cough up thousands of dollars right then and there. Like, I'm literally, and do you know how
That's
many people
gross.
they hired that were not photographers? They taught them no photography experience needed. Fuck you. That's somebody's
That's
first
gross.
kid. What do you mean no photography experience needed? Like, I'm a professional photographer. I've been doing this for years and I don't even charge that freaking much and I'm still making my bills. What are you guys doing?
Yeah.
That's sickening to me. I was so mad. It was like every other month. You're not doing this right. You need to do this. You need to do this. I'm like, bro, you guys don't even want to pay me, but you want me to do all of this? No, thank you. No insurance, no nothing. No, I'm good.
That's
And when I said, hey, I'm putting in my 2 weeks, they said, that's okay. It happens all the time.
yeah.
So don't you think there's something wrong?
Mhm. It's crazy. It's crazy. And I think we both got like, we're so frustrated because like you said, we've been seeing this for a long time.
Yeah.
Like
We've
and
lived
we lived it, and like it's just weird growing up watching your parents live a certain way, and you're just like, then you get to your turn at it, and you're just like, what? This
There's
is
a
it?
whole other path.
This is what you guys do every day, and you're okay with it? Like,
Well, and sometimes they aren't okay with it, but they had to.
yeah,
And that's the reality.
that's fair.
They did what they had to do in order to pay the bills, to take care of their kids, to do what they need to do. Like
And
I
that's
saw how
fair.
hard my parents worked. And
That's
I know my parents worked hard too. And like that was what it had to be. You either make the money or your kids didn't eat.
Yeah, and that's fair. There's a level to that. So
Yeah.
I definitely understand that. And I think the whole to kind of like conclude some of this is just we have to do this differently. Like I couldn't imagine, I'd never want Cass to end up in a position where he feels like he's valueless. Like he's at a job and he just feels like, oh, just doing this for the money. And there's just so much in the world you could be doing for the money. You could there's just so much out there. So I just don't want, and I will take, because we'll probably take some heat for this, where people will be like, well, you guys are just naive. You do have to have money to live in the world. And it's like, maybe I am naive. So
Yeah.
what? So
Yeah.
what? I'm naive. I'm going to take the reasons why I'm doing this, and I'm going to change the world because I can.
But at least we're asking questions.
Yes.
At least we're
So
talking
what?
about it. At least we're discussing it. Like I've seen burnout. I've
Yeah.
seen somebody I've loved very much drive themselves to a hospital because they were having a heart attack because they were so burnt out. Like I've seen those things, and it's because they didn't have enough money to make the ends meet. They had a college degree. Like people are so willing to just judge and fight back and get angry instead of just say, well, that's actually a valid question, or let's actually discuss this. Like let's just discuss it. It's not who's right, who's wrong. It's something's going on. This needs a conversation.
Yes. 100. That's it. That's it.
Mm.
We just need to talk about it.
We
Like,
need to talk about it. You guys tell us how, tell us about your corporate experiences. Tell us, did you love it? Did you hate it? What are some things that you wish that a lot of larger businesses would take into account whenever they're responsible for people? Should they be responsible? Should they feel responsible?
yeah.
We want to know your thoughts. We want to know how you're feeling. Cam, is there anything else?
I think that's it. I feel like I'm just like, we're doing this. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
we're gonna take the people in the world who say they have no value, and we're gonna give them value.
Oh,
They're
absolutely.
worth it. So
Yeah. I feel everybody's worth it. Every person has value. Like we need to, when we can finally get to a world where people are respected, no matter,
yes.
no matter where they come from, that's going to be a huge difference. No matter how they started, I think that's going to be like the biggest shift. So,
Yep. Which is
oh,
it's kind of funny. Just we were watching this show on HBO Max. It's called that damn Michael Che. It's the guy from SNL, who
yeah,
does the Weekend Update, the black guy. Um,
yeah,
and he has this sketch in it where he's stuck in an elevator with this white lady who has a Black Lives Matter pin on her purse, and
yeah,
basically they're stuck in the elevator, so they have to have the conversation. So they get to talk about cops, and they're talking about how like being a cop is just a job. That's just a person who gets paid $50,000 and they have a job. And
yeah.
basically it's just it shows like her overt wanting things to be equal
Mm-hmm.
that moment, like when she's at a black person, she's acting like she's overacting, like she wants everything to be equal, she wants the world to be better, she wants that kumbaya moment. And then the elevator starts working again, and they get to the floor, and they're both going to like the gym in their building, and she has her key card and he's looking for his. And she opens the door, closes it behind her, and says, "Bye, see you later." And he's like, "Well, you're not going to help a black guy out?" The parallels. We'll see on the side in this arena, but when it comes to being true and actually doing it, this is what being true and actually doing it means. And so for me, I want to live that. I want to live being true. We're not just going to talk about it. We're going to do these things. Right. That's kind of how I feel in this whole conversation. I'm lit right now.
Lit. Yeah. Well, and like
gotta stop for the play. We gotta stop playing with people. We can't.
Yeah. Well, and I know some gyms that they don't want, and I'm just like talking about it. There are some gyms that they don't want you going in after another person. What?
It doesn't matter. Alex is laughing because you're making an excuse for it.
Do what?
You're making an excuse for it.
I'm saying it from a security purpose. Like
I understand.
You're not allowed to go in after another person. They yell at you.
But still, in that moment, he has a key card. He goes to this gym too. Who says he doesn't find his key card when he gets inside and scans himself in?
Yeah. Well, some people, they'll let you go and you go to the front desk.
But he would know the same information because you guys go to the same gym. So that's the thing.
You're right.
We have to live it. Who cares? Like. Yeah. We have to live it, which is kind of interesting that you even just try like.
I've personally been yelled at by a lady at the front desk. I'm just. That's the only reason I said it. Like.
I understand, but
I get it. Like I get it 1000%, and I don't want to make an excuse for it. Yeah. So I apologize. No,
you're good. I just think it's interesting because there's these things built in where you're just like, this is how the structure is and how the structure should stay.
Yeah.
Is it? Can't we challenge the structure?
You're right.
Can't we question it?
Maybe question it a little bit. Yeah, you're right. Yep. Damn. Jess has been humbled.
It's just an interesting, it's however you want to take it. But I think it's interesting to think about something so small. That's so minuscule.
Mm-hmm. Like, just opening a door.
Yeah, just opening the door. Yeah. And who cares?
I'm over here like safety. Like,
what if the guy doesn't go to that gym or whatever? He wants to go work out.
Yeah.
What's the evil in the guy?
Throw weights at people.
What's the evil in the guy wanting to? Maybe he wants to go take a shower. What's the evil in wanting to go take a shower? Like,
yeah, you're right.
Some of these gyms are $10 a month. What's one guy walking in one day gonna do?
The world.
Yeah.
The world.
Right.
You're right. Well.
That was an interesting moment though. I like that.
That was, yeah. No, seriously, but that's why we need to talk about it, because that, like, for a fucking white girl who's walking into the gym, they're like, oh, for safety reasons, don't let somebody come in behind you. Cause like they have the alarm. They have, like, if somebody comes in behind you, it'll go, bah! Like, I'm like, fuck, my bad. And so like that for me, but seeing it as like, I've always held a door open for somebody. Mm-hmm. I've always held doors open for somebody. And that's when I got yelled at.
We're sitting in it.
We're gonna sit in it. We're gonna sit in it.
All right.
But that's the thing. The conversations are hard. And they're not always fucking comfortable. And sometimes you have to go, okay, that's your view of it, but this is how it really is. And in the end of the day, it's shitty.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's shitty. And we do have to talk about it. We do have to be able to talk about it and not be like, I hate you, Kam. We're never talking again. Jessa, you suck. Like, oh, yeah.
But I would suggest that show. He's definitely good.
I'm going to watch it. What is it called?
That Damn Michael Che.
That Damn Michael Che.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, y'all, I learned something here on this podcast and we're here for it.
Yeah.
Michael Che. Okay. All right. Well, thanks for tuning in, guys. I know that this was a spicy one.
It was spicy. I felt like this is the soapbox moment we were talking about.
Yeah. Episode. We needed it. We were like, we're letting it loose.
Yep.
We're
Let's
letting
go.
the cannon go. So, you know, if you guys want to listen to more, if you want to talk to us, please reach out. If you want to, you know, enlighten me on my ignorance, let's go.
Or enlighten me. I'm down. Let's talk.
Enlighten us. Like
Yeah.
that's the thing. We're here to open up the conversation,
Yep.
and we are not afraid of being uncomfortable. And we want to hear what you think. We want to hear, you know, corporate America, yes or no? Like, what do you guys think? If you guys want to hang out with us, we're on Instagram at Wisdom by Design Podcast. We also, we have our things under here, but that's for personal, right? Personal stuff.
Personal. Yeah. That's our
Okay,
personal
personal
stuff.
stuff.
Yeah.
So we are on Instagram under Wisdom by Design
Yeah.
Podcast. If you're watching us on YouTube, awesome. You can also listen to us on Anchor, on Spotify, Google, all those fun things. And if you'd like to support us and hang out with us a little bit more, we have a Patreon that we just opened. We're very, very excited about. Cameron put a lot of hard work into the beautiful layout of it all. We're going to have a lot of really cool, exciting things that we're releasing each month only for the people in our Patreon. So
Currently, we have one episode up. So
one bonus episode, and we get spicy in that one too.
that one is great. That was great. We give some opinion. Yeah, that was great.
Yeah, we do give some opinion. We talk about some goofy ass shit too. So but yeah, thanks for tuning in, guys. Thanks for hanging out with us. And did I miss anything?
I think that's it.
Okay, all right. Well, I am Jessa.
And I'm Cameron, and we will see you guys next time. Peace.
Hasta luego.